Released nationwide on July 1, 2015, this fifth installment in the Terminator franchise is part sequel and part reboot. And much like 2009's Star Trek, X-Men Days of Future Past, or Mad Max Fury Road, neither of these antiquated terms accurately describe the type of movie this is, so I'm officially proposing that we now start calling them requels. They may start over with a soft in-universe reboot, but some existing lineage is usually retained. Anyway, Alan Taylor directs this sci-fi action requel, which is produced on a budget of $155 million, a sizable step down from the last two pictures. The unnecessarily complex film begins with the motivations and decisions that preceded James Cameron's 1984 original. A hardened resistance fighter in a post-apocalyptic future sends his trusted friend back in time to protect his mother when she was just a frightened waitress living in Los Angeles. When our hero arrives 45 years in the past, however, he discovers nothing is as expected. As if the Terminator franchise wasn't FUBAR before, Genisys throws caution to the wind by retconning the entire pentalogy. After all, the movie's promotional tagline does proclaim, "Reset the future." This is the movie's first and biggest mistake. Rearranging the events of the existing saga is blasphemous enough, but when all of these alterations occur off-screen and are only explained via wordy exposition, it may allow for some more creative freedom, but it alienates fans of the series and undercuts the importance of all previous entries. In fact, familiarity with this franchise actually hurts the picture's screenplay, as you're constantly expecting things that no longer exist. Going into this PG-13 rated production with fresh eyes, however, might result in a more coherent experience. Indeed, the lumbering 126-minute feature completely bastardizes the existing canon, ignoring parts 3 and 4 entirely. I will say, however, that a 15-minute prologue leading up to the events of the original film is really interesting. For the first time, we get to see the time machine itself. Really though, all of this time travel mumbo-jumbo is just a thinly veiled attempt to explain away Arnold Schwarzenegger's 67-year-old appearance, returning to the franchise as the titular cybernetic protector after another 12-year hiatus.
Yeah, I think this guy's a couple cans short of a six-pack.
Your clothes. Give them to me. Now.
You won't be needing any clothes. I've been waiting for you.
The in-universe explanation for his appearance works though. He may have a metal endoskeleton, but his living tissue still ages on the outside. This brilliant idea reportedly courtesy Jim Cameron himself, who otherwise had no involvement with the production. Remarking on his appearance and age, Arnie quips to a doubtful ally, "I'm old, not obsolete." Schwarzenegger really is the saving grace here. Even after serving 8 years in office, this guy still has it. His physique is strong, his tongue-in-cheek delivery is as good as ever, and seeing him in a more parental capacity was an interesting twist. Every other major character is recast though. In fact, Jason Clarke is now the 8th actor to portray the sentimental freedom fighter John Connor. Jai Courtney leads the group as his second-in-command, caught up in the temporal mayhem, and Emilia Clarke is the headstrong vixen hell-bent on destroying the machines before they wipe out mankind. J.K. Simmons is great in a small supporting role, but his underdeveloped character isn't integral to the plot. Although Lee Byung-hun portrays the classic liquid metal villain T-1000, it's a familiar face that gets repurposed into the primary bad guy role. And thanks to Paramount's obnoxious marketing that was rife with spoilers, you likely already know who this is. Suffice it to say, it's the film's second worst decision, a character change that makes little sense with poorly explained powers. They possess the ability to morph and rebuild on command, and their only weakness is magnets or something? When this character attempts to escape the pull of a CAT scan machine though, the ensuing visual, which sees their bodies scattering into layers across the air, is extremely cool. Later, the poor Golden Gate Bridge is once again destroyed in a blockbuster action sequence, as a pivotal chase culminates on the iconic roadway. When our heroes attempt to prevent the robot apocalypse from some stupid software launch, a visible countdown timer is frequently shown on screen to help increase the tension. It's an overwrought but useful mechanism for storytelling, especially in this genre, but when the clock randomly jumps forward in time whenever it wants to, the usefulness of the trope is completely ruined. Technically speaking, the movie works, and it looks good. Moments from T1 are recreated rather faithfully, the music from Lauren Balfe fits okay, and the visual effects are inventive and impressive. But the Hollywood execubots who greenlit this picture seem to have misunderstood the series' mantra, "No fate but what we make," as an invitation for an unneeded follow-up, instead of leaving well enough alone. Ostensibly built as the first installment in yet another new trilogy, this movie is enjoyable enough on its own, but as part of a larger franchise, it falls short. Terminator Genisys may be a clusterfuck of continuity, but Arnold makes it worthwhile. I thought it was just slightly better than Part 4, and a good movie.